Okay, so a couple of people have been asking me to go over Heather Antucci Giraffe's latest filings after the verdict. Since there's nothing else going on, I figured why the hell not. Okay, so we'll start with 152. This is the first win for Heather since the case started. She got an extension to file post-verdict motions. It was extended up to March 30th, so we got a win here. Next up, we have documents 138 through 143. By the way, I love that she the little logo is Heather on the left and Trump on the right. That's amazing. Anyways, document 138 is simply the transcripts from the, what's this? I think this was the identity hearing or something. This is old stuff. There's really no point going into it. I think we've talked about this before. 139 is more transcripts. I believe that this was another early hearing. Again, it's an old stuff. It's an old transcript. It's from August 24th. The other transcript was from, I'll look it up for you guys. The other transcript was from August 4th. This was from the early pre-trial hearings. We've gone over them. There's nothing really. There's nothing new in them. I mean, we could go over them again, but what's the point? This is, again, another transcript. This is from the August 29th hearing. The next one is also a transcript from the August 29th hearing. This one, also another transcript from October 18th. The other one is the pre-trial, what's it called? This is excerpts from the jury trial proceedings. It doesn't actually contain anything interesting. It talks about jury selection, rules. It's old, it's not new. Then this is here. The later documents, I don't know why they post this stuff, but anyways, this is the receipts for the filing of the transcripts, which are, you can all see this. It's like 6 transcripts in a row, 6 receipts in a row. So, to recap 138 through 143, she's just refiling the transcripts as quote-unquote duly accepted evidence of separate acts done by foreign agents pursuant to standing precedents number 2 and number 3 of document 101, transcript of removal. This is a transcript. So basically, even though the transcripts are already on the court dockets, she's re-entering them into the court docket, which you don't need to do, by the way, and calling them evidence of acts done by foreign agents, which, by the way, the judge in this case is a United States citizen. He's not a foreign agent. He's not working for foreign governments. So, this is just insanity by Heather. Next up, we have documents 144 through 151. There's a weird little email message from Heather, which is not that interesting. It mentions that there was a fight in the jail, some back and forth, which is nonsense. Number 1, we have the list of all the government exhibits filed by the, that was all the evidence exhibits from the jury trial. They have to say what they have to list it basically. What's interesting is that Heather and Randy did file. Well, that's not actually that interesting. What the hell? There's actually some evidence that was filed or submitted by the defendants, which is Heather and Randy. There's like Google Map stuff, Chevron City, auto policy, a letter from the FBI, an arrest report, Macy's credit card account, a bill of sale for Coach, Heather's factualized trust, and the UCC documents, all the filings that were submitted as evidence. So contrary to what a lot of people on IUV say, the UCC documents were submitted as evidence and were not excluded. The next one is, again, not anything new. It's just she's refiling stuff that's already in the docket as, quote, evidence of separate acts by foreign agents. In this case, you see that she lists her, number one, it's her press fee, but then she cites the motion to amend indictment, and then she writes on top of the document, duly accepted as evidence, blah, blah, blah. Her thumbprint, actually, look at how many thumbprints there are. There's 1, 2, 3 thumbprints. And then on the side, below the judge, there's notice of principal is notice to agent, blah, blah, blah. There's a maxim on the left written vertically. Nothing is born from fraud. 214, her name. Then on the right, notice each act being separate and additional is incurred and ledgered on 10/18/17. Blah blah. This is basically the motion to amend the indictment. There was an error in the indictment. The prosecution filed a motion to fix the indictment, and they granted that. So, and what Heather did was simply refile it by writing nonsense on it, and her thumbprint. What else? The other interesting thing there is that, one moment. No, that's it for this document. 146 is a new document, but it's really just more of the same. It's standing due notice of due acceptance of evidence of separate acts. We'll just go over it a little bit. Number one, this is a copy of another press fee that she wrote, and she's added some other stuff on top of it for another case file number, standing due notice, all written in pencil. Then there's the new stuff that's added in pencil, now duly accepted as evidence, standing declaration. Basically, she's reciting, she's re-mentioning her old press fees. Then she also mentioned that she's refiling the recordings, the transcripts, more transcripts, more transcripts. 143 is another transcript. She's waiting for the transcript of the jury trial. So are we. Articles 1 and 2. You know, here's another thing that's interesting. You know, she has an obsession with restating articles. Oh, look at this. She says something in Article 1, and then and then Article 3 is just Article 1 and 2 restated. Then the next one, 5, is Article 1 through 4 restated. She doesn't need to. When have you ever? Has anybody ever actually seen a legal document where they restate the same thing over and over? Anyways, see, this is she's just refiled the same press fee with thumbprint. Notice this is press fee where she said that she was having secret meetings in Antarctica with Saudi Arabia and China. Blah blah. So I mean, she's just refiling the same things in the court, which is simply amazing. So yeah, we're done with this one. Moving on. 147 is an order to cease and desist. She copies some of the old paperwork and simply writes, "You are hereby ordered to cease and desist," blah blah, and puts her thumbprint and signature. 148. 148 is simply her writing that it's a standing order of null and void. Notice again, Article 1 or Section 1, whatever, is the order of null and void, and then Section 2 is simply Article 1 restated. I don't know, what else can we say about it? It's always a thumbprint, last name, certificate of service. Yeah, it's just more to say. 149, more of the same. It's a standing final judgment and order reconfirmed. Then Article 1 is being duly issued. A standing order to cease and desist. And then Article 2 is Article 1 restated. Then we have the handwritten certificate of service. Certificate of service written in typewriter. And then her, what do you call it? Thumbprint. Well, I'm assuming it's just a thumb. It usually is. So, anyway, 150 is a standing order of appropriation allocation, cease and desist, judgment order. It is ordered that in the universal cleanup, support sources and resources thus include all sums ledgered pursuant to document 55 restated subject to additional ledgering. Some people think this document is new. It's not actually new. She filed this already. She's just simply refiling it. This is a bond that actually it isn't even a bond. It's a example bond, as it says. It's got her. Now this is the one that we discussed earlier. It's actually from before the TEA. This was from when Heather was trying to access money via bonds instead of via TDA transfers. It's got her EIN in the Treasury deposit account. It has her Project 13 account name. Also has her Skype name. Why she's filing this, God only knows. It's also got the 46 quintillion dollar. What is this one? What would this be called? He's trying to fine the government $46 quintillion in pre-1933 gold and silver. CUCC blah blah blah. This is for the 1,300 hours she spent in jail. Keep in mind that the total amount of gold and silver in the entire planet isn't even worth 46. There isn't enough gold to pay $46 quintillion. I'm pretty sure you could buy the planet for $46 quintillion. What else can you say about this? Yeah, obviously she's never going to get $46 quintillion. So really, how it is that people like Sheila Corona Lunacy read this, in which this woman is trying to get $46 quintillion and not realize that Heather is crazy. This really should be a signal that you're dealing with a crazy person when they're talking about $46 quintillion. By the way, this was a woman who, I think she had, $40 in her bank account at the time she was arrested. So, the idea that she's worth $46 quintillion is ridiculous. I mean, that's a personal attack, but whatever. 151 is a standing declaration of dishonor. This one's actually kind of interesting. I am Reginald, who is also known by the appellation Heather Ann, blah blah, being of sound mind. We've talked about this. Lunacy talked about this one. I'm not going to read it again. Anyway, she basically accuses the government of subrogation, theft. Theft is an interesting one because she and Randy stole $1.5 million from USAA, so that's an interesting little irony. Anyways, she's also accusing them of commandeering, fraud. Fraud, also interesting because she's a fraudster. Terrorism, also. There's also slavery, subversion, misprison, collusion, and anarchy. That's interesting. I didn't know that we were living in anarchy. Then Article 5 is simply the other ones. It's just A through J restated. She loves restating them. Then there's pursuant to secret. No, that's not a good one. Proof of documentation. No, that's boring. Separate acts. Due notice of evidence. She also accuses the Federal Reserve Board, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, the United States Treasury, United States Department of Defense, blah blah blah, of doing bad things. USA Bank, DTC, DTCC, GMAEI, all that nonsense. Here we go to actual concrete statements. Here we go. And for further purpose of establishing the ignorance, and she says that she was tried before an uninformed, misled, and prejudiced jury. She puts jury in quotation marks. That's really mature of her. Brought by perpetrators of human rights abuse and corrupted, presided by perpetrators of human rights abuses. Moving on. Removal. Unified effort. No, that's not the good part. Unified effort. She keeps mentioning the universal cleanup. This is the interesting part. Support and resources to United States militaries, Hawaii, and Japan. Yeah, that's such a confusing thing. I don't know what she means by this. Maybe she means that the United States military and the military of Hawaii and the military of Japan are separate things. Does she know that Hawaii is part of the United States? I don't. Anyways, God only knows what she means by that. Then Article 9 is simply Article 1 through 8 restated, which, again, she loves restating. 3 thumbprints, 2 signatures, 3 dates. This is some very professional paperwork here. 3 signatures. The more signatures you have, by the way, this is a legal trick which a lot of lawyers don't know. The more signatures and thumbprints your document has, the more powerful it is. There's also Annex A here. This is, again, not a new document, but she sorry about that. Annex A is, again, not a new document. This is a document that Randy filed, who, according to him, he was narrated to him from other prisoners. I'm not gonna go over it, but it's some of the most it's an overview of sovereign citizen theories. Basically, they argue that the government is a corporation, that criminal cases are monetized and deposited. Talking about 1099 OID, that they have the right to get the money from the criminal case, blah blah blah. Not really worth getting into the details of this. Criminal cases do not produce money. Just should probably make that clear. Criminal cases cost money. It costs the government money to put people in jail. The only people who, in theory, do make money is the only people who, in theory, do profit off criminal cases are, say, for-profit prisons, maybe defense attorneys. But I mean, hey, they're doing a job; they gotta get paid. But no, the government as a whole does not make money off criminal cases. It costs them money. Other than that, nothing really interesting here. It also mentions 1933 and the America's bankrupt nation. Went on, we got a security agreement, which is blank. She didn't even bother to write in the information, her name or any of that. Then we got all the receipts. I don't know why they keep posting the receipts. Maybe they think that this stuff isn't being put into the docket. But look, you don't need to post a receipt. You know, once it's on Pacer, it's on Pacer. Anyways, finally, we got to the hashtag Universal Cleanup, hashtag Make America Great Again. By the way, America, which Heather claims to have foreclosed upon, somehow she's gonna foreclose it and make it great again. Gotta explain that one to me. Anyways, notice of filing, fifth and final notice. As always, we have the what is this? A logo or graphic with Heather on the left and Trump on the right. Anyway, okay, this is the only interesting one, only interesting document that was filed. Basically, it goes from it's the same precipice, the same Antarctica precipice, the one where she says that she how do you say she had secret meetings in Antarctica. She refiled the same thing, but wrote in blue pen, second notice standing. Actually, the standing is okay, let me explain this one. Okay, this document has been filed 3 times before. Number one, it was the first time it was filed. It didn't have any of this stuff in pen. Then the judge said that she didn't have standing to file orders, to order the court to do anything. So what did Heather do? She wrote standing in blue pen and added a little what's it called? Added a little arrow pointing to the precipice. So the judge says she doesn't have standing, so she literally adds the word standing to the precipice. Oh, how can I not have standing? I wrote standing on the document. See, that proves that she has standing. Anyways, so, and now the third time she files this, she adds second notice to it. Alright, and by the way, this was filed January 23rd. Then, oh wait, at the same time, she files the exact same document and wrote third notice on it. Now, how they received the first and second notice, the second and third notice usually, usually if for late fees and that kind of stuff, there's time between the second and third notice. Here, Heather is making the second and third notice at the same time. But boom, surprise. She also filed the fourth notice at the exact same time. And boom, she also filed the fifth and final notice on January 23rd at 11:33 a.m. So notice one, second notice through fifth and final notice were all filed simultaneously. And obviously, if I'm guessing, she doesn't actually say what's going to happen if they ignore the fifth and final notice. We will have to wait and see. But obviously, nothing's going to happen. They're just going to ignore this and strike it, like they did the first time she filed this. And so this is probably like the 8th time she's filed this precipice. So yeah, that's, and of course, for some reason they keep posting the receipts. We know they received it because it's on Pacer. You don't need to post the receipts, guys. All right, so it's basically. So now we're just gonna wait for I guess the trial transcripts, which are gonna be interesting for the judge to ignore this, and just to see how the people over at how Heather's supporters react, because there's a time limit. Eventually, they will start to get bored and lose faith in Heather eventually being released from jail. Of course, she's only facing like 10 years, so she'll probably get like, what, 1 or 2 years maybe. I've heard that kind of numbers being thrown around. So she's not going to be in there that long anyways, but, you know, after a year, they're going to start to realize that, you know, Heather's paperwork doesn't work. Randy, however, is in a worse position. He's facing 30 years, probably at, I don't know, what, 5 years maybe? I don't know. But yeah, Randy is the one that is screwed here. But anyways, we'll wait and see how they react to Heather's precipice being ignored and struck and dismissed for the 8th time.